For the joint city council and public safety commission meeting notice for today, please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, thank you all for joining us. Usually in person or Zoom. We'll start by calling the
Councilmember Joe. Councilmember Joe.
Present.
Councilmember Debbie here. Vice Mayor Wong. Mayor Paul.
President. Here.
Commissioner Bundell. Commissioner Pepper.
Here.
Here.
The agenda is posted 24 hours prior to the special meeting at the following locations: City Hall, the Pearl Library, and agenda is also posted on the city's website. This is the opportunity for public comment. City welcomes public input at this time. The public may address the city council and the public safety commission on items that are not on the agenda. Pursuant to state law, the city council and the public safety commission do not discuss or take action on issues not on the agenda. To ensure that everyone, including those joining us remotely, are able to hear all speakers clearly, please directly into the microphone. Please note that all comments are limited to 3 minutes and will be timed by the city staff. I'd like to now ask City Clerk Walker to explain how the public comment section.
First, we will take in-person comments for each item. These will allow speakers to be on it. The countdown timer is displayed on the effective hearing while we do the remaining use. No one has to comment for more than 2 minutes. For all the comment there are 2 ways you can let us know you would like to speak. First, you can use there which is button us on the click to the nominated on the water line. The second question, you can recommend in the channel house if you like to do it on the movies that are almost. Keep in mind that technical difficulties Zoom, the meeting able to less people and technical issues for your talk. All I'm reading to further any public comments you might do on the so the gathering or change no public comment. The city has instituted a 3 p.m. to enable more effective council meetings for no public comment. This is to ensure that there is sufficient time to gather and present no comment. Any comments we have, the 3 p.m. deadline will be public on the record, but will not be read.
Thank you for the update on the traffic task force that was given a few months ago.
Obviously, that's not on the agenda today, but perhaps in general discussions that we're going to address it. So, anyone else wish to? Anybody online? Thank you, Supervisor Walker. Item of new business is general discussion between the Public Safety Commission and the City Council. I'd like to open up for public comments, and as far as all, we'll just carry over your general comments in this area since it's specifically related to the Public Safety Commission. Does anyone else have a comment on the general discussion between the Public Safety Commission and the Council and the press? Seeing none, do we have any public comment online? Okay, so we will now turn to a list of items submitted by the Public Safety Commission that they would like to see addressed here at the meeting today. The list was compiled by them and provided us for purposes of discussion in this meeting. Due to the adjourned regular meeting, the council meeting will be held directly following this meeting. We'll go through as many items on the list as possible. We might do, after 20 years to hear this. Item one, city company public safety commission that has addressed is the public safety commission roles and responsibility. And the question directly is there interest in seeing the role of the public safety commission changing? Is a public safety commission meeting the expectations of the city council? Would the public safety commission like to address that issue further with respect to identifying anything particular, or you'd like to just have it open to us?
I guess I have a couple comments to it. So in terms of how we've been operating probably for the last 18 to 24 months, it is our meetings kind of have two legs. One is getting the department reports, which the police, fire, and public works have done an amazing job updating us of what's going on, what their priorities are, and I think that's how they operate, which is phenomenal to see. And the second thing has been when topics are of interest to the community, having members of the city show up. Probably the hottest topic we've had in the last 2 years was the recommendation on that terrorist report, which I believe was killed, but in terms of a topic, was the light at Lorraine and San Mario Island. That had about 30 people attend to it. But besides that, in terms of department updates and a couple hot topics, we really kind of feel like a parking lot of issues that come to us, and for lack of a better term, maybe we advise on a little bit, but that's about it. We like to have a more active role to see kind of with the theme of the agenda here presented today.
Any other members of the public safety commission want to expand on that, or would you like to hear this? I do appreciate what you're speaking of it in as Shimoda was that this commission has been in existence for 4 years, and it was a new commission that was specifically set up to, in essence, act as a sounding board and for public safety issues, as well as address things that are directed by the city council. And one of the more important things that we all do is the budget, and that is to review the budget of our public safety areas, which is the largest area of our budget, and it's first addressed to you where any issue might be in public safety. Nonetheless, given the topic of discussion, Council Member Lowe, do you have anything thoughts on this matter?
Yeah, I had opportunities. I think to do more. But then I did some thought. I know we had Englewood Lodge program, and each still had the and I think each one seen that. I don't know how the Englewood Lodge program is. I do think it's what they would send it from each area. If they can bring topic in each system and bring it to, if this is set up as a regular meetup between this was one of the police.
Joe?
You think that maybe the things that we can see outside the commission. I think for me to comment on this, I probably need to light on just the current commission. Besides the meetings and how to the chiefs, I guess could we get a better understanding of in order to foster how they use it? Yeah, I think right now, other than, and I'm taking over as chair, but Commissioner Bo, as chair, but it was really, I think we wanted to present a topic to City Council. It was during public comment most times. So there's not a normal dialogue going back and forth. Is that correct? Anyone else had a different way of communicating?
How do you set the agenda for your meeting?
We set our agendas for policy a week in advance.
What topics might go on that? Meet with the.
Our standard agenda is gonna be online business, so the department updates. And then any historical business or topics that have been left open, and then any things maybe for the community that we want to address. And obviously anything comes up from public comment will be moved to the next meeting. Very much a little self-contained entity, if that makes sense.
Because the city council communicates mostly with the city manager, and I know the city manager, yes, it is, but, it typically set it through discussions between the mayor or a city council member. And he will bring forward the agenda based upon a lot of different factors and discuss it with us, and then that will be itemized. Or the council themselves at the end of the meeting can, if we have 3 people discuss it, we'll agendize it. So perhaps it's best that you set it, you find time on your calendar to meet with the chair of the Public Safety Commission and discuss what items that you're perhaps should be discussed with discussing the Public Safety.
I'll give that suggestion in a more than that. And I also suggest the commission has very strong relationships with our chief, Contra Chief Green and Public Director Shaw. They serve as primary liaisons for different types of agenda items. And why I'm coloring this in is 3 of them and I had a conversation just last week about looking for other green topics that we can bring to the commission. Sifting through our annual budget, looking for other items of substance to it.
There's a lot of things out there that I can choose. It's specific of getting it to city commission, city officer, works director. And they're coming up with issues we'd like to discuss. Council also hear from the public safety commission, and regarding items of public safety, within that, somehow there's a go back to having them discuss it at a meeting. That's the best way to do it. All right. Council membership, Ron, you know, or I'm sorry,
So that's kind of what I'm getting at. Just to add on, I think if you see something reoccurring, right, then it's more quality driven, and that's the time to maybe make the push with the city staff to get that up and service. We're close to the city manager, and we appreciate them attending our meeting last month.
Thank you, Mayor. So appreciate, I know since I was the liaison, and maybe it was when Hunter was chair, and then I think when Al was chair, to the Public Safety Commission, you have done, collectively, I know you're newish, an incredible amount of work, and a lot of it, particularly, for example, the terrorist report, which we know was a failed effort in a lot of ways, and we struggled with it. And I think your in-depth review really helped us as a council, help public safety focus on some of the recommendations, led us to make decisions wherever that got us to where we are, which is not much, unfortunately, but that was all very useful. And I think there have been a number of things, and I know working with the chiefs and their staff, and the concerns that are brought up through the public safety officers is critical for us, because obviously that's a huge entity. And in my you, the problem has always been in large part reporting, our communication both up and down, getting your conclusions. I mean, if we're a liaison or we listen to it, it's not a huge concern. We are directly, aware of what your conclusions and your discussions, so that helps inform us. But also for the community and for us specifically, I do appreciate, I think it's covered in sort of the second question or, we bring up the reporting and making it a regular statement. I think it would be very helpful for us to get something in writing, either in the staff report or whatever would be the appropriate means, with Director Shaw, Chief Concho and Chief Rueda, to have something in there that talks about a discussion ensued and concerns were brought up on these issues, and we recommend X. It might not be, again, depending on budget and whatever other concerns are brought to us in the big picture of the city. That's kind of council's role, but I really would appreciate that, and I think that would be an excellent way. Getting topics to you, if things come to us or we have concerns, maybe that last meeting. And I also appreciate, Council Member Lowe's comment, also his view of connection to the chief's, to community neighborhood watch or neighborhood meeting, and picking up some of that we might not hear. We probably hear as much, if not more, if we get into those texts as well. But I think the neighborhood watch is more formalized program, even some of the outreach that the groups do in town. And you might be the first, obviously, the first people to vet that and bring some things that aren't on our agenda to our attention. So I really hope, I think that those are the best ways to communication. I think it's not the work or the role or the responsibility. I think that is working well. I think it's very helpful to have you, be there and work with our public safety. So a critical part of our city as well as parks and public work. But I think it's a lack of communication between our two groups that's been such an issue for 4 or 5 years. And I believe that that's brought to our attention. We do have a new community manager that's on this and very aware of what needs to kind of be massaged to go forward better. So I think that will work, and I appreciate you having this person, so to speak, to be more useful and get us more information and be that sounding board that I think is the original vision.
Thank you, Minister. I think of this after survey that our community and see what residents want, and then and
Well, that is true. However, it didn't happen in the last 4 weeks. There's obviously, and but how do you make that an agenda item? For fair, other than having confidence, more than adequate public safety. I really want, one of the things also that I do this, but make sure there is a coordinated effort between schools and the city with respect to public safety. Because I do recall at times when there's been a threat at the high school, a lot of times the city council is last to know. Although we get the mix, so John knows it, but look at their protocol and discuss their, make sure that the two entities, not just from a president's or fire president's idea, to make sure that these policies adopting review changes to deal with these. Like I said, how do you agendize it? And I think by working with the city manager as well as our public safety, we can find a way to agendize that, have those kind of public discussions, see what they want, see which ways we can on an idea. So, I mean, my concern is not there's nothing for you to do. It's just that how do you agendize it that you have that discussion?
Excuse me, sorry, if we could have speak closer. have one follow-up and it's along the same lines. Do all of our bodies, and I guess this perhaps is directed to the city manager, do all the bodies have the same opportunity at the end of the meeting if if a topic is brought up by one of your commissioners, or committee members on another, the appointing committees, if three agree that they want this agendized, who is setting, I guess this goes to Tony, excuse me. Councilmember Cho's first question is, how is your agenda set? If three of them agree that to go forward, that they really want to look into X, whatever that topic is that you've been hearing, it doesn't come from us, obviously, it's the spot in your organization or your commission. Are they agendizing and is that something that goes on the next agenda, or how is that worked out? And as former chairs may know, I don't know how.
I think in terms of within the ESC, definitely discuss at the end of the meeting or move it to the next meeting. But I think the focus has been priority, what's the scope of that? That's why I think we really would like the manager's help or the as some of the doing through the memo that comes from the report to my president. I don't think it is something to look at. Some of you
And my also, and this will follow down that if it is a memo point, then it might be worth the chair, if possible, or the vice chair to also come up and speak about the context of the discussion and the result at the meeting. You know, the follow-up.
but I just don't think historically we've had anything agendized or something. If you get the agenda, it'll be there, but I think it's, again, being able to have that escalation, et cetera. I think right now, for instance, the department reports we read, they're moving on to a file and then asking us about it, but you don't get any of the meat behind it or concerns, questions, et cetera, that happen in the dialogue.
Well, and I do believe that with working with the city manager, we find a way to not just have you guys out there keep for that, but have you specifically focused on city manager and city council be report, because I think that also gets to the second issue, and that is communication. Because often I'm out there that city and people are concerned about the school, public safety, or reacting to something that's happened. Generally, what's the city doing about that? John, or the city manager. And I do think giving them an opportunity how that they form, which is you guys instead of these. I'm going to open up to you guys' suggestions. Commissioner Bell, do you have anything that you would like to add?
I would just comment to supplement this that setting the agenda, all of the members of the commission are offered the opportunity to add items to the agenda. The last item on our agenda is always to add items to the next agenda. So there is plenty of opportunity for the committee to participate in the building, and we do. The only other point I'd like to emphasize was actually the point that was raised by the gentleman who spoke to you. The commission has spent many hours addressing issues particularly having to do with safety, public safety on our streets and on traffic. And I realized that we've gone through the process of selecting new consultants to work on traffic matters, to have a relatively new public director. It isn't getting any positive or even negative feedback other than nothing. There's nothing from you. You're not in a position to give direction other than we constantly ask for it. We put together at your request, a traffic task force, and they did great work, and they provided great input, and we're hearing nothing. We're not in a position to report to the community. I'm not sure how that can be changed, but it needs to be changed. Otherwise, the commission is not finding either the direction to you or to the community that I think you expected. Apologize, I'll get off my soapbox. Thank you for listening.
I'd like to see you on your soapbox. And perhaps, city staff could, explain if anyone.
You have, we have gone through ourselves. Furniture, lessons, and
We've got, we can worry about the backlog here at this point.
Okay, every support or the findings from the community? I'm sorry, the findings from the. Okay, thank you.
I think it's down to, Julia, actually, that is because the communication got locked down there. Commissioner, so do you have anything?
So the first, I think I want to be in that this is the interview for the application of the and it was being not only informed but the community involvement, which I think is a great goal. And we fulfill that one, I think, to our as much as we can, but also to advise. I mean, our role as the Public Safety Commission is an advisory committee to the city council. And the last time I feel like, other than the traffic study, the last time I feel like we really got the chance to do that was with the 7-10 month. We had a lot of hearings, lots of community involvement, lots of people came and spoke, and we heard lots of opinions on both sides of the issue. At the end of it, we came up with some recommendations, and they were passed on, as I understand it. And at the meeting of the city council where the 7-10 money was considered, it was unclear to me whether or not our recommendations had really gotten. There was a lot of discussion. There wasn't much reference to our meetings with the community, much reference to the comments that we got from the community. And so I started to wonder at that point whether or not we were really doing what we had been set up to do. And I think it does go down to communication. We tried, I know, both tried, we've all tried during our chairships to try to increase the communication, and for some reason it just didn't work. And so that's, I think, why we've come to this point, is all of us have expressed our frustration to Chair Morrison, and he's taken it upon himself to set up this meeting, which I applaud him for. And maybe it comes down to being something as simple as, in your meetings with the city manager, maybe there's a set item where you have to discuss issues to the city, to the PSC. And just make it a checkbox. Maybe there's nothing, but I think some of our frustration comes from the fact that, yes, we have the ability to hear from the public, most of which don't show up at our meetings, so that doesn't generate much input into our agenda. We also have the ability to set our own, which we do. But as Mayor Tall mentioned, we're sort of out there in the
We all kind of thought we were gonna be given assignments, lack of a better term, from the city council, things to review, things to provide upon, and things that the city council would then consider our recommendations in implementing. And that just hasn't happened. So to the extent that we can come up with a procedure, and it may be as simple as what I just suggested, but to the extent we can come up with a procedure whereby we can get stuff to do, I think we would feel better as a commission that we're contributing, because I would say, at least in the last year, 90% of our meetings have been reports, and that's it. No one shows up. We don't have anything to talk about other than here's the great reports from the departments, which we really appreciate. But there's nothing to do. And we want
It, only to get the public involved, all you have to do is make a questionable decision. We know that, but, you know, in response to that, we do want to do things.
In terms of your data points, when the budget came to us, we provided feedback, we got a lot of great answers, but as I understand it, Commissioner Bo, correct me if I'm wrong here, none of the topics actually made it into the report. It was really like a Q&A session, so that when they present the report, they maybe had some more to speak, but I don't think we changed anything document. Is that fair? Does anyone speak to that? I'm now fair, but again,
Because I asked all the time, this has been through the, and
it's been through,
that's
fine, what's the so what?
Yeah.
Well, we got a so what?
I mean, in the end, you guys are advisory, but it's with us, and so if whatever the reason that is good, you are not taken, don't be offended. Because we do hear your and I can remember specifically on the 710, it was in the reports, the Public Safety Commission had this meeting there, and had this meeting there, had this meeting there, and so it was in there. Specifically, I don't remember what your advice is, but that's an issue that was a while ago, and so I do see it in reports, but and once again, it gets back, I think, to communication. Hopefully, so we will know specifically what your advice is. Because you were not selected just because you volunteered, you were selected for various rations, for various reasons. And we do rely on probably more than because people ask whether or not you think that an opportunity is something. Do you have anything else, Jeff?
I just want to say thank you. I'm gonna back out. I apologize for running my mouth.
That's fine. Hunter, do you have any other comments?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Good comments. Whatever today is, would be good since the manager or, before, me. Now, but I think having, very helpful. Secondly, city council liaison, we have one, or we should have one. Like, that would be another.
I advised, our liaisons, they don't necessarily have to go to the meetings. I mean, they can attend by Zoom if they so choose, but, that they are someone responsible for communicating. However, a lot of, city councilmen do attend. I'm going to jump ahead to education, but I want to finish this discussion. Do you have anything else on it? Charles, on this issue?
I think we're good for now.
Okay, so to summarize, we will find a better way to reflect issues on your agenda. Having you not only discuss the issues with our public safety officers, our Public Works, and also, set up time with the city manager so that, the city manager can relate back to you what issues that the city council or that he's hearing in public, need to address. And then we'll get the communication, because I think that's the third part. So, the second issue, um, is your preferred method for the Public Safety Commission to communicate with the City Council. And is going forward, the Public Safety Partners will take it for the Public Safety Commission. For staff reports presented to the Public Safety Commission. Quality of the discussions. To ensure that the City Council has a direct way to hear from the commission. Charles, do you have anything perspectives item that would have this discussed?
No, I think based on the earlier discussion, that's kind of the one of the two legs. I think the second leg is maybe more direct line with. Hey, this is something that needs to be said. Your comments. The comment basically. Yes.
Joe, do you have any comments with respect to? Councilman?
Just wanted to, address the traffic concerns. I know a lot of time was spent both on the chair's report and the task force, which I thought was very useful. And we have listened to both, your meetings and the task force meetings for the, I could, and was the town. So, my only point is, I would like to see, the Public Safety Commission, once we do get some concerns back from the insurance company, we're gonna go through the process. There has been work ongoing. I know Director Shaw is committed to giving the city residents toolboxes to kind of implement if they have certain areas. And I would really like you, your commission, sorry, you collectively to be able to vet that and give us a real hard look, because I think part of the terrorist report and that brought to us were some recommendations that were clearly not appropriate in our residential areas and that type of thing. You know that as well as us, as well as whatever public comment, you know it better. And you could work with our police and public safety, police and fire, as well as Director Shaw, really with a fine tooth comb, because that's going to be critical that we get that out there. And then I think our community will have specific, as well as staff and our departments, have some recommendations of areas that are problematic and what we start with, whether that's speed bumps around. I'm not even going to go down the road. What's vehicles? Let's put up blocks everywhere. But I'm hoping that that can really be something. And I know the community is looking forward, and I know Director Shaw is on that. She knows traffic is a concern, and we have to move forward in problematic areas first and try to do some things that slow cars down around our schools and residential. And, there's big picture and big expense items that put the brakes on a lot of them. What to do about the center of town. That's a huge, different scope of project. But I'm really hoping that your committee can act quickly when we get it back, and we can get to us quickly, and we can make that available to the public. So I am fully committed to seeing it through, and I know it's installed, and believe me, there's a lot of people on the council and the community who hear you and want to move forward. And I know our public safety personnel as well have concerns about the speeds and these hit and runs. We're just in a bad situation here, and we need to move forward on that. So please know it's our priority too, and we do want to get it done ASAP. So we'll look to you for that, and I hope that's a helpful way to get you guys active and very engaged as we move forward with that process. Thank you, Mayor.
That was fine. Well, Nothing worse than when you did not use them. Very good fathers. I would imagine still. And I'll tell you that in the staff reports, there's often reference to there was a meeting by the policy. What I would like to do is see that our staff reports highlight and any advisory committee or policy committee, what their recommendation is on an issue. For example, and it's just an item, so it doesn't get lost in the information that we have. Just in every report, or committee recommendation. That, hold it, highlight that, and then tell us what their recommendation is, and that on social media. That way, number one, it's highlighted, and number two, know that this work was really people in respect, and that this is what their advice is. And I believe if we highlight it, it doesn't get lost, because I know it's there, I see it, I read it, not necessarily highlight that time. But that's just half of the problem. And the other half of the problem is making sure, as we discussed, that there's communication that when we have an issue that we'd like to discuss, that issue is directed. That takes cooperation between the chair and our city staff, particularly the city manager and the public safety officials. Fed to us so that or back to them so that they can make. Commissioner Bo, you have any further comment? I know that you and I struggled with this, the fact that we were living with training wheels and you know, trying to figure out a way to do it. And I apologize for mistaking on to something more. Commissioner Kelly, I think it's kind of, oh, Alan, did you have any comment? I'm sorry.
I think, our thinking was maybe to have it, in the minute, but, decided that there was action and then, you know, so that's part of it.
What the,
Just, important. Absolutely.
it is up to them to adopt,
Try to have the same price, minutes. The policy version comes down from the house. Across the board.
see that they said, or how would you get to that?
Mayor, it would be much more simply, anything that they would like to as the staff, your tenor, recommendations, those types of things, staff will take those. You're going to whether it's work with the commission, whether it's planning commission or public safety commission. Some version of those notes, paragraph goes to staff. If commissioners brought up concerns share that. On. The policy. And we can translate those comments.
What is your condition? I know Commissioner Jennings spoke about it, you do or. Yeah, Chair, what the city. Does council have anything for this? Item 3, look at that. Fast, right? So we do have 4 minutes. Item number 3 is additional topics. Commissioners. Pardon me, Chairman. Commissioner Bo, do you have any other additional, including the items that you would like to see put on your own agenda?
I would like to, extend this briefly. Traditionally, points on regularly with the discuss agenda. So the county is great to be. More joyful. And like you said, and just want to thank them for all their excellent work and their efforts to use our use it as a sounding board, also their efforts to communicate our input. Thank you to our.
Chairman, you have any additional comments?
Yeah, this is to end here. And not on any of the departments. Some of the issues look at in the future, for example, council member talked about speeding that forward issue. I've done it. Exactly. Continue concentrating on that also personally. But then I would think maybe adding more officers. Sure, question for officers. Have more coverage, because I think currently we're on 95. The second thing is, vehicle. That compared to electric vehicles, and in the interest of saving money and fuel or maintenance, for the planet, I think, that of course we're gonna have to look at infrastructure costs, but I think yeah. All electric. Third topic,
I already did it now. Here.
Bring it out.
This is your opportunity.
Yes. As anyone that's driven down through the city lately, we've noticed some visitors that. So I don't know what you can do as a city. Ordinances, what is the.
On.
Monday, November 6th, and I can allow them manually communities having water, I see water.
We'll be hosting the police department with several in Raleigh County, the Keno's office. We do is the small, we can advertise in social media voice. It's going to be something basically opportunity. If framework within we can operate things that we can and cannot do, and things that we as an agency. Not just as a city, but
When keeping the city of it doesn't appear that subsequently that we want opportunity from the city in discussing recommendations, deal with speaking on bus stops, and so forth, or is that kind of
is all of them really for a lot of the city. The extent that any conversations come up during recommendations, things that require additional listening, I think there's suggestions for we can send people to the next or subsequent public meetings for them to collaborate and allow departments to bring additional speakers and really that is visited a great forum for us, our residents come to learn and understand the topic. Public Safety Commission should be the subject matter experts on these types of topics so that not only the council or the five folks that are out there talking and preaching about the things we can, but taking the extension to applications for the framework will be. So, also very short, we'll find ways together.
I think that, your suggestion in things that always confuse me as a lawyer, and Joe can also mention, is we always advise people what they can't do, and we never get any of those do. I discussed with my wife at USC that you know, their attorneys always talk about what they can't do with respect to free speech. Well, let's talk about what we can do. And see if we can make in that area and the Public Safety Commission would be an excellent place to begin that discussion. Anything else, Hunter?
No, thanks, man.
Two items. One is, I think we had a really good discussion today about popping up in terms from PSC to City Council. I've talked briefly to the manager about this, but I think overall the umbrella underneath us in terms of our community, I don't think we have a great way to reach out to our community holistically. Not something we're solved today. That's not anything on the radar. I mean, whatever it is, oh, we put it on Facebook, we put it on Instagram. I mean, if you look at the demographic of our community, they're not checking that, whether it be an emergency, we have Nixel, thank God, but like for other type of, you know, upcoming events about mental wellness, homelessness, like how does the 3,000 houses in our community, 90% of people see those communications? Those topics are just falling on deaf ears, and we've seen it with DSC. We have low attendance. So if we get engaged with the community, we talk to them, they're like, wow, I wish I known this was here. I would have come sooner, or rec commission, etc. I don't think a lot of people in the community realize all the work that these people, all of us are doing.
My recommendation is talking to Cole, who is, he's the one that gets that information out, and perhaps you guys can put your heads together and find a better way to get the information. Work with Charlie and find what, because I think you're right. Sometimes doesn't know that you're addressing these issues. Anything else? You said two items.
The second one, just make sure that the committee member Wally had his question answered in his open comment.
Do you have your question answered? That
Yeah.
we're stuck waiting for the insurance company to come up.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Does any member of the, I see, low.
I think that's what I will talk about, because the school is an act. Anything that usually comes up. It happened, I heard things. I don't know how we did it. And everybody, so many direction, and we can promote it to these. It was, notification on the television. Obviously, we get to work, and sometimes when it is a two challenging, certain things that you know issues on the app. Take pictures and then city issues around, even seeing the room somewhere, they send that service directly, something like that. So I've been wanting to actually be able to and see that.
Are you talking about above and beyond the current app the city has for city tickets, or are you talking about functionality? Yes, thank you. Yes, I agree. No, I think that's a great question.
Yeah, I don't know if we have your capacity for existing app, I mean, something like that, but once again, however, it gets to the point is how many community members from their iPhones or their Androids that might have that information, so we deal with that specific issue all the time. Information to someone. Yeah. The information, but how do we get it? Probably our most long. You unfortunately are out of time. Does any other council member have anything to say? Okay, I would just say this, I appreciate it, but I just work most of us, we have action. So let's get some action on these things. So that we take a step forward to make sure that the communication lines open and the public safety commission is dealing with the right issues. With that, I will close this portion of our special meeting of the Salem City Council. Mission. Take a recess, or do I need to adjourn this first?